that of the Secretary General, Honorable Nathan Nandala Mafabi, and the person of FDC have come under severe and savage attack from a section of our leaders, meticulously put together with the main objective of desecrating the party and turning it into a personal organization that can be used for personal political gain through unholy alliances. All of us who are going to speak to you, ladies and gentlemen, are people with a name. As the public may know, I have been in the mainstream political activities of this country for almost 3 decades. I began my national political debut in 1994 as a young person running for political office to join the Constituent Assembly. None of us who is going to speak today has belonged to the NRA, stroke NRM, and its successor, the National Resistance Movement Organization, NRMO. I have participated in every election as a candidate since the Constituent Assembly elections in 1994, and also as an active team member for the late Dr. Paul Kawanga Semujju in 1996, and for Dr. Kizza Besigye from 2001 to 2016 during the presidential elections. To me, 2016 was such a unique opportunity because I was chosen to lead the campaign of Dr. Kizza Besigye as his national field coordinator in an election that we convincingly won. Together with Honorable Nathan Nandala and the others who joined that campaign, we worked tooth and nail, day and night, to ensure that this victory comes about. My comradeship with Nandala Mafabi and Dr. Kizza Besigye started in the year 2000, when Nandala Mafabi, coming from the World Bank, and myself coming from my practice, decided to join hands to hunt down the dictator who has continued to bedevil this country, Uganda. To do this, we joined Reform Agenda. And Reform Agenda was an outfit quickly put together under the leadership of Dr. Kizza Besigye. And I believe that we won the election of 2001 using the Reform Agenda as a vehicle. Of course, needless to say, as members of both Reform Agenda and PAFO, we went on to form Forum for Democratic Change that now enjoys full national presence. And for those who do not know, at that time, Dr. Kizza Besigye was in exile in South Africa. It therefore goes without saying, without any shade of doubt, that the two of us sitting before you today are not only seasoned politicians, but people who have been in the trenches to fight dictatorship in this country. It is therefore disheartening but not surprising that we could be branded as a people who would want to betray the FDC and take it to Mr. Museveni by whatever means, and Semujju has described this as being put in a truck, and taken away to Mr. Museveni. Something that, to say the least, is an impossibility. Not only because of our strength as political leaders, but also because of the manner in which the FDC is institutionalized, but also grounded in this country. Today, as FDC, we recognize and accept that within the environment we work, it is quite natural to have divergent views, and that such diversity is common in any organization similar to the FDC. And it often leads to healthy internal discussions, engagements, and better decision making, and particularly when there is dialogue within the organization, when there is no mudslinging within the organization. Over the past years, as you will appreciate, the Forum for Democratic Change has faced many challenges that no other political party has endured, but we have always found various avenues for resolving internal disagreements, and these channels remain open. I assumed my role as party president amidst challenges, including the biggest departure this party has ever seen: the moving out of a former president and a former secretary general, together with a host of senior leaders, to form a new political party, the Alliance for National Transformation. This situation was adequately and decisively dealt with through team and hard work, and we have since moved on. I am grateful to the members who stood by us throughout this period. Unfortunately, some individuals who are ardent opponents of the current leadership chose to remain within our ranks, but continued to undermine us, waiting for any opportunity to strike. It would seem like this opportunity has now been found. Despite all this, we have persevered on this journey, and our capacity has been tested time and again by new political waves, but we have emerged even stronger each time. To all the members of the Forum for Democratic Change who are dissatisfied and have concerns about the leadership and how the party is run, we encourage you to make use of the available avenues outlined within the FDC Constitution to address your grievances. And in any case, we are a public institution and we abide by the supreme law of the land. It is totally defeatist for anybody to be running to Zambia, sharing hall, to conduct what was ostensibly a party function, and yet we have abundant ground here that can accommodate everybody. It is total cowardice for anybody, whatever his or her size, to go out of an area where we can participate in active debate, because a few kilometers from here, as if this is not recognized as our home. I would like to address the country on what has possibly created this kind of situation. Number one is the two centers of power that we have in the party today. In 2012, when our founding father decided to leave the leadership of FDC, it was generally accepted that there was a need to fight the dictator leading a cruel junta using two prongs. The first prong that we prescribed as medicine to this dictatorship was activism, or defiance as it's commonly known. The second was elections. The formation of the People's Government, whose founding I was part of, was meant to reclaim our victory of 2016 using civil disobedience. Of course, we ran several campaigns together with the president, the People's President, Dr. Kizza Besigye, running risky ventures across the country, some of which led to fatalities, including death. And therein lies our foundation. Therein is our DNA, the foundation of which was built on defiance, the foundation of which was watered by the blood of common Ugandans. After a number of years of close working together, today there is a contestation whether elections are useful in ousting the Museveni dictatorship. With People's Government declaring war on elections through transition now, no elections campaign. This approach conflicts with Article 12 of the FDC Constitution, which commands members to register and vote and to covers for votes. Ironically, the Deputy President of the People's Government, who also doubles as the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Elias Lukwago, continues to hold an elective office, making it unbelievable that this is a serious campaign that is being brought to Ugandans. I see this as the highest hypocrisy amongst some of our colleagues who have chosen to preach water but drink wine. The FDC maintains that both elections and activism are powerful and useful tools and will be used hand in hand in our bid to bring down the dictatorship in Uganda. For any organization to strive, there is a need to have one central command. Today, the FDC finds herself having two competing centers of power, one residing at number 6 Katonga Road and the other at Najanankumbi. Both these centers of power are fighting for the same political space. We are going to be trying to work within a very short time to narrow the gap between the two in order for us to work in harmony. The second issue that seems to be bringing this conflict is the issue relating to our election of 2021. As the country is aware, the FDC took a resolution to participate and field candidates in every position as much as possible. I was FDC flag bearer and definitely took the lead in this entire campaign on behalf of FDC in 2021 general elections, mainly in defense of my party. I took a great risk and made great sacrifices because I had the option of running and winning as member of parliament. We had piled pressure on Dr. Kiza Besigye, who had earlier declined to run for the 5th time. I am sure there were better prepared members of FDC to run in my place, but I firmly believe that some of them didn't do so for the reason of political preservation, which is really a natural political phenomenon. I was abandoned by people I worked with, and for many years, I ran a lone campaign supported by a few fearless and committed comrades. And I wish to thank them so dearly for standing above self-interest. It is very strange that the same people who were sitting up there at the high table in Zambia, whenever I went to their areas, they just ran away from me. They hid from me. I came to Kampala here, I didn't see the Lord Mayor of Kampala, even if he boasts of having a 200,000 strong support within the city. And this happened everywhere, and there is evidence to that effect. Those proponents of the Zambia meeting decided to betray the party and the cause of the struggle. This act of hostility to the party, including campaigning against our official flag bearers, is a hostility to the party for which it's never too late to proceed under our constitution. Funding of the 2021 elections, which seems to be one of the biggest interests that is in the news now in our country, was one of our greatest challenges during the campaign and the election processes. A resolution to borrow from friendly sources without interest was passed by the Working Committee and the National Executive Committee, chaired by my then Deputy, Owechitibwa Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao. To the best of my knowledge, a borrowing was made and accountability for all funds spent made to the first Working Committee and NEC preceding the 2021 general elections. The audited accounts have since been presented to the National Council and the Electoral Commission. Non-public disclosure of some sources of funds for the campaigns, disclosure of some sources of funds for the campaigns is not possible because throughout our life as a party, we have maintained a policy where sources of funding that don't wish to be disclosed are kept confidential. And we got to take note of this. We are not going to the marketplaces to betray people who have supported us financially. Some of them are in business. Some of them may be working in government, but do not believe in the government of the day. Some of them may be ordinary citizens who may not want to be disclosed. And so the last thing we shall do is to betray our allies. This is meant definitely to protect our funders from wanton attacks by the junta. The allegation of funds received from hostile groups by the party was made by our founding president in 2020. In private, he claimed that he had intelligence information that money had been received by the party from the Museveni establishment. It took us 2 years to try quietly to resolve this matter without much success. So this is not a matter of yesterday. It's something that has been hovering around for nearly 3 years now. This accusation came to light, to public light, during the 15th National Council meeting held on 25th to 26th November 2022, raised by our founding president, Dr. Kizza Besigye. We decided that the media would be left out of that particular session because we wanted to discuss internal matters, and therefore this was not captured in the cameras. The acrimony arising from the debate moved the council to resolve to have an elders reconciliation committee set up using the procedures of the party. And these were nominated by me, taken to working committee, which is the cabinet of the president, taken to the National Executive Committee, approved by the National Executive Committee. I was asked by NEC to go and contact the protagonists in this area, which were thought to be Nathan Nandala on one side and Dr. Kizza Besigye on the other, with the list and the terms of reference. Each of them consented to both the list of elders approved by NEC and the terms of reference. What that meant is that this committee was given the confidence of everybody, including our friends who sit in NEC, who sit on working committee, who decided to go and address their grievances in the media. The main accuser and the accused and other top leaders of the party appeared before the committee. It was my expectation that well-meaning members of the party would wait for the elders committee report. What happened in Zambia is a case of blackmail, dishonesty, coupled with fear for internal elections. The meeting held in Zambia once again raised the same accusations with just a few days to the 16th National Council meeting that shall be held next week on Friday, the 28th July 2023. Our accusers offer no new evidence of fault conducted. And so, for me, really, we have been accused not once or twice. We are subject of endless attacks on allegations being handled by the Elders Committee. The Zambia consultative meeting was one way meant to subvert the report of the Elders Reconciliation Committee, which is an act of sacrilege against the National Council and by default all the other organs of the party. I wish to state for the record, we have names built over time and families and friends that are hurting over these unending accusations. Also for the record, the party has never got money from Museveni's regime as we are accused. The only money that the party receives from government of Uganda through the National Electoral Commission is legal and has always been fully accounted for. We understand the tension within the party over the leadership positions in the impending internal elections and the interests at stake. It's only morally right to accuse somebody and substantiate the accusation to prove it. Alongside this accusation is a reckless statement by the Honorable Ibrahim Semujju, my younger brother, suggesting that the party is at the verge of being taken to Museveni by the Secretary General, just like leaders in the Democratic Party and the UPC did. Honorable Semujju has not been in the party long enough to have felt the amount of sacrifice endured to found and sustain it, probably because he only joined it a few years ago. Even as a practicing journalist, he seemed not to take note of the rough journey the current leadership has taken to bring this party where it is now. He can be forgiven because he still has a lot to learn. On internal elections as a conflict area, I would like to inform the country that NEC sitting on 12 May 2023 passed an election roadmap and guidelines. Later were approved. This set in motion an electoral process that will be run independently by our party electoral commission. NEC sitting on 16th June 2023 debated a possible extension of actual elections, and upon approval of a motion moved by Virginia Mgenyi, the election roadmap was extended to allow time to resolve internal disputes. This extension of the roadmap is now being implemented, and our election in the villages will commence on 21st July 2023. I would like to make a clarion call for our accusers to participate in this election. We will not allow anybody to fight a democratic process, because it is upon this that we have one of the greatest leadership democratic credentials ever in the politics of this country. A new accusation, unfortunately, by Honorable Semujju is that ISO is compiling, ISO has been recruited in compiling the FDC party register. As per the party constitution, Article 15, every party member shall register at their village, which is the party branch and the nucleus. Therefore, we need to understand that these registers were actually identified by the party, district party chairpersons and the leadership in the districts. It is therefore one of the greatest insults for any member of the party, most especially a senior member who speaks for us, to go and even suggest that ISO is in control of the party. All of us as the FDC are duty bound to protect the name of the party, and any allegations leveled against any party leader should be truthful and provable. The FDC party is implementing the roadmap to elect new leaders from the village up to the National Delegates Conference, who shall elect the new NEC in November 2023. These allegations that are intended to put to disrepute the leadership and the membership of the FDC are not going to be taken lightly. And as president of the FDC, I am going to move for disciplinary action to be taken against these errant colleagues of ours. Now, I would like to turn my attention as I conclude to the proponents of the attacks on the FDC. They have said a lot of things that they cannot prove, not knowing that they also have skeletons in their closets that we can prove. I take note of the threats by my deputy Elias Lukwago, who is mobilizing for violence during the forthcoming National Council. This is something new in the culture of the FDC that he wants to introduce here. I appeal to my comrades to learn the new culture to which he was ushered in about 2 years ago. I have, of course, the record of the Lord Mayor is very clear. You know, he's been hopping from organization to organization, and this is being done for political expedience. He thought he would be a mercenary in the FDC, but we would not have room for any mercenary here. I took exception to the alleged dealings between Lord Mayor Lukwago with General Saleh. It was public knowledge. You displayed documents in the media and everywhere where General Saleh threatened to withdraw his political support in a handwritten document on ordinary paper. We got concerned about that. And naturally, as the chief executive of this party, I had questions to ask. When I raised this matter with him, he got angry, personal, and almost physical. He told me that this matter was between him and General Saleh, and I should keep off it. So I decided to step back and see whether this would be resolved between the two. But as far as I understand, it's not yet a resolved matter. As Deputy President coming from Uganda, he is expected to provide leadership in the running of the party programs in the region. Unfortunately, he has been reluctant and resisted implementation of activities of the party in Uganda, instead preferring to be in cohort with the National Unity Platform. He has also not been receptive to defiance and activism, because I would imagine that being a person who is in control of the city of Kampala, he should have been our frontline soldier in activism. But all we see about him is putting on good suits and running to court whenever we activists are slaughtered in the streets of Kampala. Our spokesperson has misused his office as a platform to attack the party. And as I said earlier, he has failed to keep the image of the party and deserves disciplinary action. We have received information about the financing of the Nsambia meeting from suspicious sources. Some of the people who claim to have financed the meeting have never contributed a single penny to the well-being of the FDC. Today they are masquerading, they are saying, you know, they love FDC, and you know, they contributed almost 100 million to the running of that activity. It is common knowledge in the public that the Honorable Semujju remains one of the most traveled members of Parliament. I have received complaints from some members of Parliament that the Chief Whip is taking foreign trips from them, some of whom have never traveled since they came to this Parliament, the 11th Parliament. And we do not know how this is happening. We, as the leadership here, call for calm amongst the FDC party members. This is our party, for which we have invested our youthful energies and lives, and we shall never sell it to anyone at any amount of billions of shillings as accused. With humility, we implore you to build strong grassroots structures on which the present and future leaders of our party shall stand. I see the group there clamoring for leadership here, wanting to destroy this party using that mode to ascend to leadership. What do they want to do? To come and preside over a destroyed party? I think they should rethink their steps. Before anybody hangs us, we are humbly appealing to our comrades who have chosen to accuse us. Don't be the judges in your own case. With the accusations on our heads, we shall be coming to you, our party members, in your respective localities, in the hills and the valleys of this country, in the nooks of this country, to defend your party and to defend ourselves. In conclusion, we are well aware of both our friends and adversaries. Of course, NRM under Museveni cannot be our friends. They can't. And this is the reason why, despite the opportunity to participate in IPOD, even at the highest level, we have shunned meeting Mr. Museveni either in public or in private. We will cherish and support our friends while continuing the fight against this dictatorial regime that has sucked the lives of Ugandans. I thank you very much. One Uganda, one people, one people, one Uganda. We'll ask that the cameras now face the Secretary General, who is the custodian of many things in this party. Is this one too short?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Red.
Huh? Very.
Well, I mean, the president has been spoken. What do you want to
Allegation.
Allegation. Of course, leaders of democratic change at all levels, members of the Forum for Democratic Change, our supporters, our friends of the media, Ugandans at large. Of course, I greet you and thank you for making time off your busy schedules to be with us here today for this press briefing. And of course, the boss man, the party president, has spoken. And I hope my job is only adding a few things which touch me personally. On Monday this week, a section of our members during what they termed as a consultative meeting, just decided to make it attacks. It was an attack meeting, not a consultative meeting, towards us leaders of the FDC. And this is the reason why we have decided as accountable leaders to come out here today and offer the true line of the story. I want to thank the president. After the attacks, or during the attacks, he had to ask my colleague, Centenary, Honorable Centenary Franco Robert, to come here in Najana Kumbi because we were not available, because the spokesperson was not available to address the the Monday press conference to address the press and to continue to engage with the people of the media and the people of Uganda at large. Of course, these attacks on the President, Honorable Kikambwe, and myself as Secretary General, did not start on Monday. Did not start on Monday. And maybe I can say here, I have built a name the entire of my life. Since I was born, I've built a name. I was taken to school. I have been educated very well at a high level. And for your information, I'm an international financial management consultant who is consulted with all big organizations, including World Bank and IMF. I am a businessman, a successful businessman, and I am among the largest taxpayers in this country. Largest. I have a family, I have a wife and children. And when somebody attacks you like this, it looks bad. I have relatives, I have friends. And that applies to the party president, who is a real engineer with a family and friends and relatives. For a while now, we have faced constant attacks, blackmail, and propaganda by people who do not wish FDC well, but are driven by selfish ambitions for power and the prospect of getting rich by assuming leadership of the party. If they were real genuine members of the party, you don't go and destroy the party in public. You come and fight internally. It is like a wife and a husband. You, instead of fighting in your bedroom, you decided to go and fight on the street where everybody sees you and you are naked. So those are people who are selfish and don't wish this party well. This group of people have made it their mission to bring us down, in the end tarnishing the image of the party they profess to be part of. As FDC has got a very robust conflict management system through which we resolve issues without necessarily affecting our cohesion, our togetherness, our cohesion. On many occasions, using these systems and mechanisms, we have tried to bring our brothers and sisters on table to understand what their grievances are and address them in-house. This is what is expected of a reputable political organization. We are, however, shocked with the world delegations which were said during the Samba meeting. They were real wild. You recall one member of parliament got up and said, he came here, he had to wait for me to go out of the country so that he can wait for Kaija to sign his form. All of you remember we were in COVID. No plane was going out of this country and no plane coming in. A whole energetic, heavy MP makes such an allegation. You will know that this was just an attack on me as a person. Without anything, but just attack. Of course, the meeting was basically Nandala, Amriat. The whole discussion during the Sunday meeting and the previous attacks are anchored on falsehoods and a very dangerous ploy to damage the reputations we have built over a long time, which is very painful. We have built this over a long time. Of course, Honorable Semujju, Nganda, our Lord Mayor Lukwago, and others have continuously peddled claims that we received large sums of money from President Museveni, what they called unknown sources, to hand over FDC to him. This is just pedestrian, just thinking from this faction. If this is a political party with structures and stakeholders, it's not a personal property that you just hand over to anyone. I want to tell you our Constitution, Article 13. It says any member who goes to another party ceases to be a member of what? Of the FDC. Semujju went, she was a deputy president, she ceased to be a member. Which structure did she go with? Even her family structures, I'm sure she never went again. So I cannot, or I'm thinking that carry a structure on a pickup, on a road to take to Museveni. Unless for them they have a formula how they want to carry it on a pickup, and they will tell us. Secondly, you Alex must prove. Why can't they lay evidence on the table for all they see or they saw? Why are they not putting evidence? Why are you alleging? It is because they are alleging to people who have reputation. And they believe that if they soil us, the public will not trust us. But we want to state, the public has tested us, the international world has tested us, and they know which type of person we are and they trust us. Whenever Semujju and others have also claimed, I made a deal with President Museveni to hand over FDC in the exchange for Bank of Uganda governor, job now Minister of Finance. This allegation has been around since 2012. I want to respond by saying my qualification, my experience and expert are very sufficient to have those positions. Who doubts me? However, no one has ever approached me with that offer, and I'm not interested in working with himself. Whatever you are saying is just peddling falsehoods for their personal reasons. In fact, if I want to go to work, World Bank is waiting for me. World Bank is waiting for me. And I consult from so many banks, World Bank, international banks. They allege that we used the mysterious money to procure vehicles for 2021 general election. These vehicles were paid over a period of time, rather than by a single deposit. And we have evidence we're going to share with you. They were paid over a period of time. These attacks are glaring, deliberated to dwellers, so that Honorable Semujju and his clique have their way in taking over the party for selfish ambitions. These armed with the power of the FDC members shall not allow it to happen. I want to call on members of FDC. You should not allow this to happen. You shouldn't. You have heard these are newcomers. One is about 2 years, another one is less than 10 years, but they are here wanting to take us. We have been in the trenches for the entire life. Like we mentioned earlier, whenever Semujju's clique has made an allegation without providing any evidence, despite constant requests to submit the same. If this is not malice, what is it? Why don't you bring evidence? You say on such and such a day, you saw us in the State House speaking money, but you cannot provide. As human beings, we are tempted to follow the path they have taken in the past month of maligning us. However, as seasoned, respectable leaders, we shall not. We are respectable. We shall only provide the evidence to confirm who is who. We have decided to share something for you to appreciate of the person and the character of Honorable Semujju in fraudulent drawing public funds in millions of shillings for activities he has never undertaken. We're going to share with you. In only less than 6 months, a man got money from the public, 378 million. If we give you forwarded, yes, you can run away. He claimed to have trouble. If you get information we're getting in some of those areas, he never traveled. He was in one country, in 3 countries on one same day, which are far apart. Far apart. He tells us that Museveni should declare his relatives as employed. In Parliament as a chief whip, as now a whip, who are those working and being paid in his office by Parliament? Never say you have a piece in your, a speck in your eye when you have a log in your eye. All this we're going to share with you, and you are going to do it for your own analysis to confirm what a leader you have who claims to be clean, yet and we have more documents we shall share. For us, we have evidence. We are waiting for theirs. Let us go back to the memorial lane. Of course, some of you don't know, in 2001, we participated in the election. Our president was Dr. Begase. We did 2011, we did 2006, 2011, 2016. These general elections were when Dr. Begase was a presidential candidate, and were very well funded. I want to state I was the deputy treasurer. I have evidence and information. The worst funded election is of 2021. The other one was over 10 billion, 15, but this one was not even 3 billion. Why? Because the so-called who would have been able to assist were not there. And why? Because it was in Yamret standing and was properly abandoned. In the Kampala here, I will give an example. Lukwago, Lord Mayor Lukwago ran out from every candidate of FDC. Every candidate of FDC, including Amuria. In fact, we have a petition which says he went against the party. If you cannot support your own, now you want to come to support who? Amuria suffered. That applies to my brother Nganda, Semujju. He ran away. But I want to give you a simple experiment to show who are those who get public resources. Who made billboards for Lukwago? You remember the billboards? Yes. Who made them? Who made billboards for Semujju? We have got somebody who says those billboards, each was over up. Each of them spent over 1 billion. Semujju spent over what? 1 billion. Show me the kiosk which sells airtime which belongs to Semujju. Have you ever seen this kiosk of MTN or airtime? So where did he get the money? So I told you that we have been funding elections. It has never been an issue. All those periods, nobody has ever questioned where was the source of what? Funding. But in the 2021 is where the question is what? This double standard should not be accepted, and we shall not agree. The people who talk with their tongues folded. During the day they are saying something, and the night they are saying a different story. Honorable Semujju is the biggest beneficiary of government money. You recall when he was a chief government whip, and now he is now opposition whip. No, not a whip, chief opposition whip. Yeah, chief. He was given a vehicle with even a red car and a field with a field card. But also they gave him cash 200 million. If he loves Uganda and FDC, why did they either bring the 200 million in FDC or return it to the consolidated fund? Because he had already what? I have mentioned about the people he employs. I want you to go and find out who his relatives are before he asks Museveni his relatives he has employed. I want to state and I want to tell you the people of Uganda, and I want to ask Saleh. He raised the issue to Lukwago. I know Lukwago goes to court or even on a smallest thing. Why hasn't he gone to court? That clearly shows there is truth, and I want you to ask General Saleh to give me authority to prosecute this case up to the end, because I am one of the best investigators in this world. And I will tell you, he's a chief beneficiary of public resources, and directly and indirectly. Recently, he was paid over 500 million by Attorney General that he went to court for a case that they were thrown out of office. There are many people who have won cases, years and down. They have never been paid their what? Money. If Museveni was not interested in him, would he have given him this 500 million? The document we have, which will show criminality, and I want Honorable Semujju to deny it, is going to be circulated to you for you people to see a leader who is supposed to do oversight function, how he behaves. If you can get money like that, would you really question anything? It is for you for only 6 months. There are areas, I've told you, where he was in Juba, Nairobi, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, I think almost on the same days. I want you to ask a question. Did you send members of parliament to go and be trained how to do campaigns? I thought they are already campaigning that too. If you see those documents, he's almost every week in Nairobi training in campaigns. He went to supervise elections in Kenya for 14 days. Were elections in Kenya there for 14 days? No. Let him confirm he was there for 14 days. If he's a genuine man. And he says he's a Muslim like us. I want to challenge my brother Semujju, who has been doing character assassination of Nandala and Engineer Amuriat, to come out if he has moral authority to challenge me and Engineer Amuriat. They should stop to be pretenders, and if they have any evidence on us, they are free to table it. I have declared all my personal assets, all my businesses, and how I have gained them. When I left the bank, I was being paid $20,000 per month in 2001. When some people left journalism, I was being paid how much per month? If he has those properties he has, when he was getting nothing, what about me who is paid in what? Dollars. I will also give a document which talks about the 300 million of agents which was given to our founding father, who claims he took pictures of the money, and when he was returning, he returned it in installments on the day of voting and after, and we still have a balance. And if he says it was not the money, he would have returned it all once. Not in a what? I want to state that as a party, there was no need for our team to have gone to a Sunday to spend all that money. They would have come here to question. Because you wanted to ask accountability, which we have provided in working committee, where there are all members, in National Executive Committee, in National Council. If you have not asked from there, why go to Zambia? In auditing, which I'm well versed, and as a professional, they raise a query. We have submitted our accounts to Electoral Commission. We have not got any audit query. And I don't know how Semujju and Nganda team are capable to raise a audit query where their competence in that area is lacking. They made an allegation that we got money to fight NUP. Now you can imagine FDC people becoming spokesperson for NUP. The person who should be complaining should be who? Senyonyi. But you can imagine Lukwago and Semujju are the one complaining on their behalf. That shows that they are not members of FDC. They are just on top of FDC, but they are not what? Members. I want to state, we have never got the money to fight NUP, and we want to say, if NUP says so, we are here, but I want to state that this confirms the truth of the last election, why Lukwago was silent on FDC, but sympathetic to NUP and other forces. Now, if such a member can refuse and Semujju can do that, it clearly shows that these are members ready to destroy this party in the name of NUP. And I'm saying kindly resist it. As FDC, I would like to remind you that FDC believes in democratic processes. That's why we have the elections. We're in the election process. As the party president explained, our village structures start on 21st, and this is a command of the national. It is a command by our constitution, Article 15, Clause 4, which says there will be party branch elections. That also applies 16.3, 17.2, and that's what the party is doing. I want to state that we have also received a petition where people say that the chairman FDC, the party president FDC, the chairman FDC president, the chairman, not electoral, the chairman, the national chairman has no mandate to stop any election process. And that's true. The Electoral Commission of FDC is independent, and they do what they are supposed to do according to the law. And if they have decided to conduct the election, it's the command of our constitution. As the Secretary General of this party, who keeps the accountability, who is in charge of, who is the custodian of the law, that's to say, responsible for compliance with all legal obligations of the party. I will defend this constitution. It will not be accepted. It is so unfortunate that our brother Lukwago is mobilizing people for coming to disrupt the National Council. I want to request colleagues and brothers that don't do it. This is not a fighting ground. If you want to fight, you can write a letter. We'll also get you the number of people to fight with you. And we can hire Nachibugo for that purpose. This is the Democratic Party. It will not accept any violence. And I want to repeat, it will not accept any violence. And my brother, Lord Mayor Lukwago, kindly desist from that act. If we really had the power to mobilize. When they sacked you from the office, why didn't you organize those 200,000 to return you to the office? And now you want to come to fight. And that is the reason why an electoral roadmap has been drawn to renew party structures, leadership through election. It is through election. It is not through violence. It is through what? Election. This fraction of leaders will not derail us from achieving this. I want to thank you all. One Uganda, one people, one people, one Uganda. Now, members, we had asked our colleagues from Ghana, Robert Centenary, to make a few comments. And I'm going to, because of the sitting arrangements, I will give him my chair. He has not thrown me, I'm the one who handed it.
Thank you, the party president and the secretary general. I know some people may be asking themselves, why is Centenary speaking to the cameras at the headquarters of Najanankumbi? FDC is a party of equal opportunities. FDC is a party of participatory leadership. And our constitution allows for delegated authority. And on record, I want to state that I come from a district that is founded on the principles and values of opposition, and that for us, we have been there before some people who even sit on organs of the party. And for record, I have also been on these organs of the party as a NEC member by virtue of the fact that I held the position of Member of Parliament. And when we are all going to purchase membership cards for the FDC, each one of us pays 1,000 shillings. Nobody pays 10 million. If you pay 10 million, it is your donation to the party. But the nominal value of our membership card is 1,000 shillings, which gives us the same nominal strength, the same membership strength, and that was brought in the spirit of generating equity so that people do not develop a sense of entitlement based on their contribution to the party. Therefore, our brothers and sisters out there who have developed a sense of entitlement, it is quite disheartening that you have deliberately, either by design or by bad manners, decided to shun the organs of the party, even when a platform has been accorded to you, to bring out your grievances in broad daylight so that they can be heard by the appropriate organs of the party, and you decide to form a parallel force that is devoid of your homes. It is complaints that he is now bringing now in 2023. Even when we concluded those activities here at the headquarters, I did not see any of them. The Lord Mayor was not here, and I kept on asking, where is our Deputy President for Uganda? We are concluding this activity in his region, and he has not appeared anywhere. Because we had a meeting in Masaka, we had another one in Impiji, and another one at the headquarters. Buikwe and Luweru. What I recollect is that the day we had a meeting here, taking stock, and the day we had a meeting in Impiji, he was in Kamocha, hobnobbing with our colleagues of the National Unity Platform. So it would be unfair for you to be offered a platform to air out your grievances, and you don't show up, and then you decide to go outside the party organs and demonize it. You've been told about the Dr. Nawiso led investigation. Yesterday, again, unfortunately, I had my... Really? Do you resign after accomplishing a task? If you really mean well, you should decline the offer of the task, or you should give your dissenting views through a minority report. That is how civil people behave. There is nobody who is going to expect that FDC as a political party is going to run like a marketplace. Even a marketplace has leaders, because we have these market masters who organize the markets. So if a market can have an organized leadership, what do you expect of a fully registered political party with brains like ours? By the way, I would like to tell my brother, because he was asking me if I am speaking as who. I think now he has the answers. I am here with the leadership of the party, and I am speaking. So if he thinks he's the only person who has the capabilities of speaking, I am speaking. And I will continue to speak whenever I am required to speak for my party. He has already disqualified himself, and he has put himself in a position of being incompetent to speak for the party. Because it is clear that the moment he brings an allegation against his party in favor of a sister party, that clearly shows where his heart is. His heart is not in the FDC. His heart is where he's advocating for. And if I may ask him, what is the relevancy of his allegation in 2023? Isn't it post-mortem? If he was making an alarm about the so-called dirty money that is in the party, I want him to first of all take stock and ask himself, to what extent has that so-called money negatively impacted on the institution of the FDC and its members? That is when he will have a valid justification to have tantrums all over, and all of us will rally behind him and say, yes, you have a good cause. We don't want our party to go to the drain. But as long as he still continues to lash out on the basis of speculation and malice, then for us we shall treat it as pedestrian talk and cheap talk, and we shall not allow that to devour our party. I would like to caution our members from the opposition. I heard on the radio our colleagues from the DP celebrating that we used to laugh at them, that whatever is happening to them can never happen to the FDC. I want to state this categorically clear, that the difference between the FDC and the DP is that whereas our party president does not have the opportunity to sit in parliament, even if he had it, he would not sit on the government side, which is not the case for the DP. In the history of this world, it is the first time I have seen a party president sitting on the opposite side of his members of parliament. And then you want to compare us to yourselves, and you are jubilating that our house is burning. Secondly, this is not the first storm that FDC has gone through. Actually, for me, I would say this is a wind, because we have been through bigger storms than this, and we have successfully come out of these storms. So don't even expect or wish that the worst is yet to happen. No. In fact, what has happened to us in the past has hardened us more, and we have become stronger than ever. NRM, if you are celebrating that FDC is going down, I want you to also go through at least one single storm that we have gone through, and we see if you will be able to stand the test of time. Because for you, you are jubilating over what has not yet happened to you. Now, for somebody to allege that ISO is the one registering members and constituting the structures of the Forum for Democratic Change, do you want to tell us that you are the commander of ISO and you are the party president, and he is the one who delegated me to come and fill the gap which you had created at the headquarters? And as a law-abiding member of this party, I pledge to continue speaking for this party with or without Semujju Nganda at the headquarters. May God bless you, God bless our party, Amen. And God bless our members, God bless our leaders. We should be courteous enough to respect the leadership that we have. Even the Bible demands us to do so. Thank you, members of the press. I am called the Honorable Fungaro Kapsa, National Secretary for Mobilization and Organization at SEC, MP Emeritus of Bobi constituency. I have something small to add. This is derived from my role, from my position of National Secretary for Mobilization and Organization, where the responsibility of organizing, mobilizing, where the responsibility of taking care of the strategy of the party lies most. In the meeting that took place at Zambia Sharing Hall, there was also an accusation particularly pointed out towards the Electoral Commission and the exercise of the elections. Some of our colleagues are of the view that the elections of the grassroots structure up to the National Delegates Conference should not take place. And that there was a NEC meeting which took place here, in which a resolution was passed by NEC to suspend the elections. And which means the elections which are going on right now, the activities going on, are illegal. They are contrary to the position of the party. This is what I want to clarify. That statement from Zambia was not correct to some extent. Whereas a meeting took place here of NEC on the 16th of June 2023, and whereas a motion was indeed moved here on the issue of suspending the elections as stated at the Zambia meeting, the resolution passed was not to the effect that put off the elections completely. That matter was put to a vote, and these were the three positions. There were three positions which were brought in that motion. Number one, that you suspend the elections for 6 weeks. Number two, suspend the elections for 4 weeks. Number three, suspend the elections for 3 weeks. And these things were voted for. The votes obtained in the meeting were as follows. The one of 6 weeks got 6 votes. The one of 3 weeks got 3 votes. And the one of 4 weeks got 13 votes. The total number of people who participated in the meeting and in the voting is equal to the total of this you added. There were 22 people in that meeting. Now suppose you are the one chairing that meeting. What is the resolution of that meeting? There. It was the one which was carried by the 16, by the 13, by the majority. Are we together?
And the majority said, let the elections exercise, which was already planned by the Electoral Commission and was to start on the 19th of June, be suspended for 4 weeks. That suspension was done and it was respected. Instead of the elections taking place on the 19th of June, count 4 weeks, it was suspended. By that, the 4 weeks should have ended and the elections should have started by 14th of June. Of July, 14th of July. But the Electoral Commission organized and instead announced that the elections should take place on the 17th of July. So my brothers, really, who were there really? Were you speaking on the basis of facts? Can you see this? So don't condemn the Electoral Commission headed by Honorable Tebalinze. They are working within the roles and responsibilities prescribed for them. They have not gone against the rulings of NEC. That's issue number one. Issue number two I would like to bring to your attention is this. There were certain activities which were lined up to be done within the 4 weeks of the suspension of these activities of the elections. Number one, the Elders Reconciliation and Investigation Committee meeting dealing on the matter of the allegations on money having come from NRM or from President Museveni and into FDC and particularly into the hands of our Secretary General Honorable Nandala Mafabi. This issue was brought into the public domain publicly here during the National Council meeting, and it was brought by our founding president, retired Colonel Dr. Begase, in a meeting. And you know, there is what is called the right of reply. Dr. Begase spoke when he was given the time to speak in a keynote address. Of course, he brought out what you already know. Then Honorable Nandala was there, I was there, we were there. He was required to reply. The right of reply is the nature of everybody. When Honorable Nandala and Mafabi came to reply, he started replying one by one. And maybe by luck, this meeting took place in the headquarters and then Honorable Nandala brought some documents. As the reply was still going on, people started murmuring, debating, responding. Like this. Then the elders said, cease fire. They stopped Honorable Nandala. They stopped the members from discussing that issue. And they said, this issue should go into the hands of elders for investigation and for reconciliation. That was what happened. The president was asked to form a committee, which he did. And within the 4 weeks of the suspension of the activities as per the NEC resolution, that committee, chaired by Dr. Nabisho, was supposed to be given time to do its work. That work has been done within the 4 weeks. The report, we understand, has been finished, and it is awaiting to be presented. Also, after completion of that report, the National Council of FDC was supposed to be summoned, where this report would be presented, and this summon has been done already. We have been informed through several means, including the mass media, the newspapers, that this National Council meeting is taking place on the 28th. We are waiting for that report to be presented. Another thing which was supposed to take place within this period of time was a meeting between the working committee of FDC, chaired by the party president, and the members of parliament, FDC parliamentary caucus. This meeting also took place, regardless of the outcome of the meeting after the meeting took place. Now, what has not yet taken place is the NEC retreat. And the NEC retreat, maybe it has not been put because I don't know, but the people who called it, in reality, should have told you. But you look at us now. There are many things coming together at the same time. The elections need money. The National Council needs money. NEC retreat, if you take all of us members of NEC, and the retreat, by the way, is supposed to be for like 3 or 4 days outside here and in the places where we usually go, it is also very expensive. I can see that most likely what has stopped the activity of the retreat from taking place is finance. The priority now is to go towards the election, grassroots election. So, my brothers, really, don't peg your issues on this. Lastly, on this point, we are at a tight corner. Some people raise alarm that the leadership of Engineer Patrick Amora the boy and all of us who are sitting here should have expired to do an election around the time of COVID there. And that election, 2020, this election should have been the National Delegates Conference where we should have elected someone. Remember, the National Delegates Conference was not possible during the COVID. Parliament of Uganda, in the interest of protecting public health, passed a resolution that all political parties should not have any gathering, such as a national delegates conference. They should find a way of adjusting their administrative issues without such a big meeting. National Council, which was smaller than the delegates conference, came and sat and said, Engineer Patrick Amora Toboy, the president of APDC and your team, we have given you 3 more years to continue running the party. And that's why the office is here. But these 3 years are coming to an end on the 24th of November 2023. If we don't have the National Delegates Conference by that time, it means we shall run into a situation where FDC will not have a legally binding regime in office. There will be a constitutional crisis. We are now pressed against time not to go into that kind of situation. The National Delegates Conference requires 3 months notice in advance. Now you work backwards from November. 1, 2, 3 months will bring us to August. Are we together? Which is next month. Which is next month, which means the notice of the Delegates Conference must be issued in August. Now, for the notice to be issued, there must be in between here a national council to set the agenda for the Delegates Conference. And for you to call that national council, you need also 1 month's notice to call that meeting. And for you to issue that notice, there must have been these activities of the grassroots election. You must have built the grassroots election, everything is ready, the list is here. Now you present to the chairman of National Council that we are ready for the National Delegates Conference. The list of the delegates all over the country are here. Because what is important is the list of delegates. Without that list of delegates, the National Delegates Conference, that meeting of the National Council cannot take place. Now, if you continue postponing these elections of the grassroots elections, you are endangering the National Delegacy Conference and you are creating a disease, you are breeding a disease of constitutional crisis. Really, this leadership of the party here must be congratulated. You members of the party, we are passing through a crisis. We are balancing like this, keeping the morale of the people. Not all is lost. Are we together? My message is to the people.